What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we can actually talk about the entire new batch of characters that are debuting with the brand new Katakuri and also Doflamingo. So in this video, I not only want to talk about that, but the actual full update for 11.2 with all of those amazing quality of life changes has arrived already right now on Japan, but along with that, there were some additional things that they kind of didn't even mention, including buffs to some characters in Pirate Rumble. And that's something that's very, very exciting to me. So we're going to be checking that out in this video today and kind of discussing and seeing how that's going to shake up the meta. But before we do that, I want to actually talk about these characters once again, these regular batch units. So one thing to confirm though is that it is not a Super Sugo Fest. These characters are going to be available in like any regular ticket moving forward. So when this does eventually come out to global at some point, you know, you don't have to go crazy for these units. I know a lot of people like Katakuri, a lot of people like Doflamingo, but these are characters you can pull at almost any point, right? So you don't have to go too crazy when they do debut, but these characters are very, very good. And we'll talk more about super classes in just a moment, but super classes are incredibly broken. So let's go ahead and talk about my man Mr. Slam Jam Katakuri. So Katakuri is a quick powerhouse fighter. That is confirmed. That is his class and type combination, which is interesting that he's quick. A lot of people, including myself, thought initially he was going to be strength just due to the graphics that they were providing at the time, but he is indeed a quick unit. Powerhouse fighter, which is pretty understandable. Captain effect boosting powerhouse by 5x. All other characters get 3.75, 1.3 health, increases matching orb rate for powerhouse characters, and recover 50% of the damage that you took when you enter a new stage. Pretty good captain effect, but the thing is, it only gives powerhouse the huge boost, so that's not something that I actually like at all. I think that's pretty underwhelming, honestly. Just considering how many powerful characters we have access to these days, I feel 5 times just to one class is a bit underwhelming, honestly. That really should be boosting at least powerhouse and fighter. It should boost both classes at a minimum. Not a big fan of that. But you know, the more matching slots and the 50% recovery is good. Remember though that if they inflict a debuff to you where you take damage instead of healing back the health, that really destroys this character, unfortunately. Now we can talk about his super class. His super class condition is that you need to have a special activate 4 times in an adventure, which is not very difficult to do, or you have a Charlotte family member or a Monkey D. Luffy character in your crew. So I like that. You know, we've already talked about that extensively, but the fact that you can have any special activate or you have a character on your crew. So there's 2 different ways to proc the super class condition, which is great. But what it does, it extends all boosts by 1 turn and changes all slots, including block, into matching, and powerhouse gain this super powerhouse class. And again, we'll talk more about super classes in a moment. But then the special ability, most of you guys know already what he does, but 10% health cut, 1000 base attack given to powerhouse characters, and then boost your powerhouse characters' slot effects depending on how much damage you've received. So you can get a 2.25, a 2.5, or a 2.75 times slot effect boost, but then it says if you've already got an orb boost active when you launch his special, he will give you a 2.5 times attack boost to your powerhouse characters. Like that's very, very nice. I don't think it's actually said here, but I believe this orb boost that Katakuri provides only lasts for 1 turn. If this lasts for 2 turns, that makes the character so much better, because then you can use his super class to extend it to a 3-turn buff. Obviously would make him way better, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1-turn orb boost, and then this already says here that it is going to be a 1-turn attack boost, okay? So everything thus far is relatively okay. Pretty good unit. His support effect, if you do a special that changes your slots around, he gives your powerhouse characters a 1.75 times attack boost, and he does attach to essentially like the mainline Charlotte family members, which is fine. There are only really a couple of characters that could probably utilize this, so it's not anything too crazy. And his crewmate effect, attack of powerhouse by 125, and if your captain is a powerhouse character, he gives your powerhouse characters a further 1.1 times health. Just giving you just a further like 10% health for free is ridiculous. So really good crewmate effects from Katakuri, actually. And then his rumble stuff. So his rumble stuff's very good because he does 3k fixed in a sideways large range, and then inflicts those characters that he hit with speed down level 7 for 20 seconds and 80% chance to paralyze all enemies for 20 seconds, and then deals a further 1.5 times attack to 2 cerebral enemies. It is a relatively high CT, but if you are up against a cerebral based team, which we can see, you know, with these characters moving forward, it does seem they want to shift up the meta and focus more on class teams in Pirate Rumble comparatively to color teams, which have been lasting, you know, pretty much since the game came out with Pirate Rumble. Color teams have always just seemed to be the way. and it seems they are trying to finally change that, which is interesting at least. He gives you powerhouse characters level 5 health and level 6 attack, which is relatively good actually, and he's also immune to special bind, which is good because in like PvP Whitebeard, for example, he does a special that can special bind powerhouse characters, so this just immediately gets around enemy PvP Whitebeards, which is good, and then also reduces damage from Cerebral by 30%. I mean, like, another Cerebral character you could come up against would be like Halloween Law, who also can special bind your characters. He can avoid that, and he does further damage to Cerebral characters. So little good combinations going on here with the Katakuri. Remember, he's a quick unit, but he's mainly focused around powerhouse, so very, very interesting. So let's go ahead now and fly through Doflamingo. So Doflamingo is a strength-driven slasher. Pretty cool class and type combinations there. Boosting Driven by 5x, all other characters 3.75, all characters 1.3 health. Dex and quick slots will be beneficial for your Driven characters, and then reduce 10 turns of special bind. Like a really good captain effect. Again, not a big fan of the fact that it only boosts one class. Really would have preferred if it was multiple classes, or the color and the class that he was mainly focusing on would have definitely made him a little bit better. But remember, also having super class once again, when a support is triggered by the enemy, so very much the same as the Legend Hawkins, right? Or you just have one of these characters on your crew. So you got some pretty good characters to pick from here to run on your teams in order to activate his super class special. And if you do use his super class special, 150 times his attack, AoE damage, and then also reduces cooldowns of Driven by 1, allows you to get around special reverse mechanics, which is good. And also you can just use it for like speed farming mechanics if you want to do stuff like that too. And then his special ability, 300 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies. Ridiculous amount of damage. And he changes all slots on, including block, into matching, just full water matching slots. But then if you've got an attack and an orb boost active when you launch the special, he's going to give you 1000 base attack to Driven and a 1.4 chain boost. So equal highest chain boost in the game, by the way. But if you already do not have an attack and an orb boost, he will then go ahead and give you a 2.25 times attack and orb boost to your Driven characters, and he recovers 30% of your crew's max health. Pretty good unit. Just a very powerful special and a very good captain effect. Like, he doesn't have any crazy gimmicks going on. He just hits hard, and I like the fact that he has a bit of utility going on with the special bind removal, and Driven don't have very good special bind removers in the first place. Like, they don't have many at all. I mean, they may have a couple good ones, but it's not many. So this just helps Driven get around special bind stuff, which is great. They really needed that. And his support effect is really good too. Only attaching to Driven units at the start of the final battle, you just get a 0.5 chain boost for free. That's a really good support. 125 attack to Driven, and if another Driven unit uses a special, he reduces his own cooldown by 1. So that's nice too. I think his cooldown maxes at like 12, 13, something like that. So it's actually a really, really good effect to have. But then in Pyre Rumble, remember, he's a strength-driven unit, okay? Keep that in mind. He does attack down level 7 in a large range for 20 seconds, 2.5 times his attack in a large range. If he's got 50% or more health, he does 2 times his attack that ignores defense to one enemy with the highest remaining health, 30 CT. So the fact that he's strength and he's driven, he has great synergy going on with Final Tap Kid. This guy with Final Tap Kid against Dex teams, bruh, it's over. Driven, attack level 5, speed up level 4, powerhouse enemies HP down level 3, immune to action bind, and also 30% damage reduction against powerhouse. Like, this guy is he's gonna be interesting in Pyre Rumble. I don't think he's gonna be a game changer, but he's gonna be nice at least, right? And you know, I don't know about these characters just in general though, because powerhouse and Driven didn't really need any support, and here we are once again with more Driven and powerhouse characters. It is weird that they really decided to debut superclasses with powerhouse and Driven. Definitely weird choice there. But now we can have a look at the rare recruits. Now, we don't have the full information for these rare recruits, but we know a little bit of information. So here we have Caesar Clown, which is one of the rare recruits. He's a strength-driven something. I'm assuming he's going to be a slasher or a shooter or a cerebral, something like that. But he poisons all enemies and then reduces despair and chain lock by 5 turns. And if your captain is driven, he gives you a chain boundary starting at 2 times, maxes at 35 times for 3 turns. This is crazy. Like, this with Doflamingo is going to be nuts. Another good thing as well is that Caesar does proc Dofi's super class condition, and the fact that this character has chain boundary and it lasts for multiple turns. This is such a good effect because you can just allow it so that you can, you know, use Dofi's chain boost, which is a 1.4 chain boost on top of starting at a 2 times chain boundary. Like, what the hell, man? And he has that, plus he also gives you the ability to just remove like a little bit of utility. Like Despair and Chainlock is good. Obviously Chainlock hinders Dofi's chain boost, and he also poisons, which means you can get around resilience. This Caesar's just a good character overall. But then we got Jhordyn Jones. Jhordyn Jones is a quick driven powerhouse, and he reduces bind by 5 and changes all slots including block on driven and powerhouse into matching, and then boosts the attack of driven and powerhouse by 2 times for 1 turn. That's pretty good actually. I can understand how this is kind of working. If you do use the entire batch together, which you are still able to do, despite the fact that, you know, some of them may not be powerhouse, some of them may not be driven, you can still actually get all these characters to work together. But the really cool thing is that you can like use Doflamingo, or you use Katakuri to extend orb boost of like Doflamingo, for example, and then like you can get an attack boost with this, and you can just allow it so that Dofi's activation can be, you know, a chain boost instead of, you know, getting the attack and the orb boost. Like you can do things regarding that. So that's actually kind of cool. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one. I don't know why they debuted these characters in such a way where they had 2 debuting superclasses of different ones. It would have been interesting if they debuted like 2 superclasses that were the same class. That would have been a really, really interesting combo too, because, you know, we've seen hybrid batches come out in the past and they've been very, very successful. So it would have been interesting if they would have done something like that, just to boost one class by a significant portion would have been interesting. But those are the 2 new rare recruits and the brand new legends in Doflamingo and my man Mr. Slam Jam Katakuri. So we're over here on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit Discord, and shout out to Blazing Gamer for more information. So let's talk about superclasses a little bit further here. It does mention that it functions in the same way as super type, as in like you fulfill a condition, you tap and hold on the character and you can swipe downwards to activate super typing. But then it says instead of boosting color affinity, superclass will boost their base stats by 1.2 times. Now he specifically says base stats, meaning all stats, meaning recovery, health, and attack. Initially I only thought it was just attack, but apparently it's all stats, which makes superclass probably one of the craziest introductory mechanics in the game. Just getting a free 1.2 damage boost, 1.2 health, any recovery that you heal is boosted by 1.2, well, that is multiplying by a recovery. That is just absurd, and this is way better than getting a 1.25 color affinity boost that the superclasses would give you. This is nuts, just 1.2 damage. Like, it just means that you obviously when you hit super effective damage, you're hitting really hard, but you're hitting super hard against like anything, right? It doesn't matter if you have type advantage or not. You're just going to be hitting overall just more damage, which is great. It says super classes and super types are able to be stacked. This has potential moving forward. I can see them releasing a batch that's going to work really well together in the future that has a super class character and a super type character, and if you hybrid them up, you can get super class, super typing, you get extra affinity, extra stats for free. I can see it happening for sure. That's going to happen at some point. So I really, really love that. But it also says super classes will also stack with other super classes. Now this is interesting. The fact that you can have 2 characters with different super classes, and whenever you use both of their super class specials, characters with both of those classes will gain a multiplier of the boosted stats, right? So I mean, it would be a 1.2 boost times a 1.2 boost to their HP, attack, and recovery. Like, this has the potential to be so crazy moving forward, being able to get so much damage for free, right? And remember, this is a permanent buff. Like, it stays like this for the rest of the quest. This is nuts. And it also opens up the discussion, like, do you think there'll ever be a situation where you can get double super classes and super typing in the same adventure? The only way you'll be able to get that is if you're able to switch your captain into the captain spot, and immediately, like, you know, Germa 66, right? Germa 66 can switch into the captain, use their super type special, so he becomes super type at least. And the thing about it is that Dofi and Katakuri that just released are both driven and powerhouse superclass characters. So you can actually use both of their superclasses, make Judge superclass for 2 different classes, and he'll also super type himself if he switches to the captain spot. Obviously, there isn't a lot of synergy going on between Katakuri, Doflamingo, and Germa 66, but, you know, just showing you that there are potential options moving forward where you could potentially get all 3 of them, but it's not optimal in any way, shape, or form. But it's just interesting to discuss it. Shout out to Blazing Gamer once again, because he does also mention that characters are receiving Pirate Festival buffs, meaning PvP, Pirate Rumble buffs. So first of all, we got Sanji Judge. Just immediately I see a couple of dual units here. That is so good, right? Because the fact that they're boosting these classes now, means that dual units are going to be way more important moving forward for Pirate Rumble, because as we know, dual units are not considered colors in Pirate Rumble. They're considered colorless, but they're only their classes. They are only considered their classes. So Sanji Judge are considered either Powerhouse Fighter or Powerhouse Driven. I can't remember in their dual form what they're considered, but they take their dual classes, whatever they are in their dual form, as their main classes in Pirate Rumble. So this is really good here, because in Pirate Rumble, this is what they do now for Sanji and Judge. 2500 fixed damage in a large horizontal range, and Powerhouse characters get level 6 attack and level 3 defense for 25 seconds on a 27 cooldown. That's a pretty good special, actually. That's really good. It's very reminiscent of like Gemma Double 6. They also do 2500 damage, but it only does to 3 targeted enemies. It's guaranteed to hit 3 characters, whereas this is in a large horizontal range, which has the potential to do more, but it also has the potential to do less, right? But it also gives your Powerhouse characters attack and defense buff. Like, that's really good. And their PvP ability is HP and attack level 5, and when they are below 50% health, they give themselves level 8 attack. I mean, the thing about it is, they don't need to give themselves an attack boost. Like, that's just dumb, because their damage that they do with their special is fixed damage. So that's stupid. Like, it would have been better if it was like, if you're below 50% attack, it give all Powerhouse characters, like, maybe an additional level 3, level 4, something like that. That would have been so much better. But at least it's fine. Like, this is a usable character in a Powerhouse-based team. Immune to Special Bind, which is also very good, as we touched upon with Katakuri a little bit earlier. And 30% damage reduction from Cerebral. Like, just in general, like, this is really good. Here we got Bartow Cavendish. So, Bartow Cavendish are going to have their special 2 times attack to enemies in a large horizontal range, which is pretty good, I guess. Driven characters get level 7 attack and level 7 guard rate up for 30 seconds. For 30 seconds, that's a huge buff. Damn, on a 28 CT? That's a good special. And then driven characters get level 3 defense, and they only give themselves level 8 attack. Okay, that's not that good. It would have been nice if it was just less attack, but for all characters. I don't like, they did it with Gemma, with Sanji Judge as well. That's annoying that they're only giving it to themselves. 250 HP recovered and 30% damage reduction against Powerhouse. Okay, interesting. I would have thought that this would have been against Free Spirit. Okay, so Bartow and Cavendish, I don't think this character's... I mean, their special's so good, but their passive is like so bad. That's a little disappointing. But it's interesting that we're getting buffs in the first place, right? Dual V3 Blackbeard. Actually, you know, the interesting thing about it is that V3 Blackbeard is already like pretty good in PvP. It's just that he's a dual unit, so he doesn't see that much play. But let's see what they've done to him. 2 times attack at large range. Pretty good. Speed down level 7 to all enemies for 20 seconds. That's ridiculous. 100% chance to inflict action bind to 2 enemies with 80% or above CT for 10 seconds. 33 CT. A little bit high on the CT, I'll admit, but you're guaranteed to hit that level 7 speed down. That's pretty good. And if they have high CT characters at the moment, being able to action bind them for 10 seconds, like, that is massive, man. Like, if you got an enemy that's about to launch their special, but Blackbeard goes first, he action binds them, he's 100% chance. He's guaranteed to hit 2 enemies that have 80% or higher CT. That's actually crazy, man. Like, this has the potential to just outright win you games upon activating. 33 CT is a little high, but still a usable special for sure. Driven and Powerhouse get level 6 attack and health, and all enemies speed down level 3. Damn, dude, V3 Blackbeard seems like a boss in PvP. Immune to Special Bind and Action Bind, and 30% damage reduction versus Powerhouse. Dude, what the hell? V3 Blackbeard is insane in PvP, man. That's great. Adding PvP abilities to characters. So there's some characters that are going to be receiving abilities for the first time. We've got Jinbei, Limited Rare Recruit Boss Jinbei. Level 6 defense for himself. Target lock himself for 25 seconds. It's not the best. Attack and defense buff to Powerhouse. Okay, this guy's pretty bad. Okay, they're just going to give these abilities to these units, but they're not even going to be good. Okay, so unfortunately for Jinbei, doesn't seem that useful. We got Fisher Tiger here, though. That's cool. Powerhouse attack up level 5 for 30 seconds. 2 times attack to 3 random enemies. Actually, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good, especially if he buffs his attack first for 30 seconds, nonetheless. And then also does additional damage. He does the damage after the attack buff. And it's just to 3 random enemies, so it's guaranteed to hit 3 enemies. Like, that's actually pretty good. I mean, 30 CT is a tad high in my opinion, but it's good. And then Powerhouse attack and speed level 5, avoid paralysis, and 30%, 20% against Cerebral. Yeah, I think Fisher Tiger is actually usable. I can see that. And remember that, you know, these characters have less cost than Legends and stuff. So yeah, this character's usable. We've got Moria, crit rate up for Powerhouse level 5. 2.2 in a large range, 27 CT. That's actually pretty good. And then Powerhouse attack up and crit rate up level 5. That's pretty good. Okay, I think Mori is somewhat okay. Not the best, but he's fine. He's usable, I would suppose. Let's see, Hody Jones, powerhouse attack up and HP up level 5 for his ability. That's good. And level 7 attack down with the highest attack and defense down. Okay, that's a terrible special. Hody, what are you doing, man? We've got Marco. His ability is speed and defense up for powerhouse, and then reduces the CT of one powerhouse ally by 30% and powerhouse speed level 5 for 20 seconds. That's interesting. He only reduces the CT of one of your allies, but it is a 20 CT cooldown, which is actually not terrible. Marco, he seems okay. We've got limited rare recruit Kainu though, who does 1.5 in a large horizontal range, level 5 attack down, and guaranteed to hit action bind to 3 powerhouse enemies for 5 seconds. What? Are you kidding me? What is that? 100% chance to inflict action bind to 3 powerhouse enemies. Dude, on a 24 CT, dude, if you are building a driven team against powerhouse, you want this guy in your team. Like, you're guaranteed to just lock 3 enemies from attacking for 5 seconds. And it's a 24 CT. That's going to be hitting at least twice per fight, so long as he doesn't get KO'd too quickly. He does give driven attack up and HP up level 5 as well. Dude, this Akainu is pretty good. Yeah, this Akainu is really good. There, you know, the thing is though, is that action bind, I mean, resisting action bind, I wouldn't say it's like super common, but it's not uncommon. The fact that action bind is resisted a lot of the time, but that's really good. I like that. That's really, really good. Brainy World, driven defense up level 5 as his passive, but then attack up level 5, damage in a medium sideways range, 4 less crew members remaining, 2,000 fixed damage to 2 powerhouse characters. Okay, so far from what I'm seeing, the driven characters seem so much better than the powerhouse ones that we just talked about. We've got Kobe here with a passive crew recovery up. Okay, level 5. And for the first 30 seconds, level 5 defense. Would have been nice if it was permanent. Damn, that would have been great. Driven attack up, recovery up, and speed up level 5 for 15 seconds, and then recovers 2.5 times his recovery in a large range. Dude, that's actually not bad. Like, this guy's going to recover a pretty good amount, but the problem is that defense from his passive isn't permanent. I would have preferred if it was like level 3 but it was permanent, or level 2 but it was permanent, because only for the first 30 seconds, that's like nothing. Like, having defense up for the first 30 seconds doesn't matter that much because there aren't many specials that are going to be launching the first 30 seconds anyway. So I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity there. If that was like 50 seconds, probably would have been fine. Okay. And we got limited rare recruit Dofi, which has his passive of level 5 attack. And for the first 20 seconds, driven defense at level 2. Like, that just doesn't matter. Like, why even bother at that point? That's just stupid. And then 1.8 attack to 1 enemy, driven speed up level 5, and gives himself counter state for 10 seconds. Okay, 18 seconds. The cooldown's okay. Yeah, okay, he's fine, I guess. And we got limited recruit pudding, which is the Psy one, which inflicts enemies in a medium range with damage over time, level 3 for 20 seconds, and paralyze enemies in a medium range. Okay, and HP and speed up level 5. What I have to say though is I do like the fact that they are still giving these characters some support. They're trying to shuffle up the meta a little bit. I don't think many of these characters that we just talked about are going to be seeing that much play in PvP, but it's nice that if you did pull these limited rare recruit characters, these characters are available to be used. And I guess this is going to be a common theming moving forward. Whatever the next batch of superclass characters comes out, they're probably going to release a bunch of limited rare recruits with abilities now. So just look forward to that moving forward, I guess. That's pretty cool though. But the main thing, of course, was to talk about the superclasses and the new characters that are coming out, just in general. It just seems super interesting. And I don't know when this is coming to global, hopefully relatively soon, but I am pretty excited for superclasses and seeing what they're going to be doing in the future, right? Very, very excited for this one. But that is going to end this video, so thank you very, very much for watching this one. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.